Hello students, today we will understand what is subroutine in 8085 microprocessor. So subroutine is nothing but a group of instruction which is written separately from the main program. So during the programming there is a need of executing certain lines of code in repeated manner. So in C and C++, you must have used functions where the repeated lines of code can be written separately in a sort of package that is called a function. So in 8085 microprocessor programming, that subroutine is similar to that function. So whenever we require certain lines of instructions or a code to be executed in repeated manner, then we write that part that code or a group of instructions separately from the main program, and we can call that segment or the section called subroutine whenever we require to perform those lines of code, right? So this is called subroutine. So there are two instructions in 8085 microprocessor associated with the subroutine operations, the call and return. The call and return is just like in a function which is used in C and C++. So we can call a function and we need to return from the function, right? So return can have two types of possibility. Either we are going to return without any value, or we can return with some value, right? So first let us understand how call instruction works. So the format of call instructions is call 16-bit address. So what does call operation perform? Call operation saves the content of program counter, which is nothing but the address of next instruction, into the stack. Remember, we have learned in the stack that how stack works. So stack will have push operation and pop operation. So whenever call instruction is executed by 8085 microprocessor, it saves the address of next instruction into the stack. So address is a 2 byte, right? So these 2 bytes of next instruction will be pushed into the stack, and then stack gets decremented by 2 as usually, because whenever we perform push operation or write a push instruction, stack pointer gets decremented by 2. So this is the reason during the call instruction stack will be used and stack pointer will be decremented by 2 because of the push operation, and then the execution will be transferred to this 16-bit address and execution will jump to this address. So to perform the call instruction, there are certain machine cycles required here. The opcode fetch, which is for this mnemonic call, and then 2 memory read for reading these 2 bytes or 16-bit address, and then writing these 2 bytes, which is nothing but the address of next instruction. So these 2 bytes will be pushed into the stack. So that is why these 2 memory write instructions will be required. Another instruction which is used in subroutine or at the end of subroutine, we used to write return. So return instruction internally pop the top 2 bytes of the stack and load into program counter, so that the execution gets transferred back to where the call instruction was used. So when return instruction executes, it requires certain machine cycle. Number 1 is the opcode fetch, which requires 40, and 2 memory read operation, which is nothing but pop operation, where top two element of the stack gets pop and loaded into program counter. That is why these two memory read is required. Let us understand how subroutine operation works. So here we have this programming example where the code is written from 200 location LXI SP 2400. Remember, whenever in your program, if you are using subroutine, the stack pointer must be initialized, because call instruction is going to push the content of next instruction into the stack. So stack pointer must be well defined. So this is an essential part to initialize the stack. So now stack pointer will have 2400. Then a call instruction is executed, call 2070H, meaning the control will be transferred, the execution from this part of program to 2070H location. So here 2070 is this location. So now the execution will be going like this, and then control will be transferred to this location, which is the first instruction of the subroutine, right? So instructions will be executed one after the another in this subroutine, and then at the end of subroutine the RET instruction is written. So this will return the control or the execution back to the location where call instruction is executed. So this is how call instruction jumps the execution from called location to the subroutine location, and then subroutine gets executed, and then return instruction will transfer the execution back to the location where call instruction is written. This is similar to a function in C or C++. So whenever the call instruction is executed, the next instructions address 2041. So this 2041 will be pushed inside the stack. So here the stack pointer is initialized as 2400, right? So whenever the call instruction is executed, remember the machine cycle: opcode fetch, then to memory read for 20 and 70, and then to memory write instructions. So what will be pushed inside this stack, which is starting from 2400? This address 2041. So 2041 is the address of next instruction, which is just after this call instruction. So this 2041 will be pushed inside the stack. So how it will be pushed? First, stack pointer will get decremented, stack pointer will get increment, let me erase it, let me write it again. So stack is initialized at 2400. So what will be the previous address? 23FF 23FE, right? So when the call instruction is executed, this address will be pushed inside the stack. So first 41 will be pushed. So 2400 will, the first step is stack pointer will get decrement, it become 23FF. So here 23FF will be done, and then 41 will be copied here. So this is the 41 will be copied inside the stack. This is second step. Third step, stack pointer gets decrement again, it become 23FE, and this data 20 will be pushed here. So 20 and 41 2041 is loaded into this stack, or we can say 2041 is a 2 byte data which is pushed inside the stack, right? And the program counter, what will happen with program counter? When call instruction is executed, this is the first thing which is done, meaning this address is saved inside the stack, and the next thing is program counter will have this part 2070. So now program will be execution will be transferred to 2070 location, this one, and then this subroutine will be executed, and as soon as the return instruction is executed, these two elements will be retrieved or popped back to program counter. So when return is executed, the program counter will have 2041. So now because program counter have 2041, the execution will be transferred at this location again because of this return instruction. So this is how a subroutine works, where the program counter is loaded with this address, and the next address of this instruction here is copied into the stack, and control transfers here. So this part of program called subroutine gets executed, and then return will retrieve these two contents and pop back into program counter, so that execution gets transferred here. So this is how subroutine operation works. Here in graphical manner you can understand, this is the main program which is getting executed, and here if we are calling any subroutine, then the execution will be transferred to the subroutine. So this is the subroutine or subroutine program will get executed, and then at the end RET instruction will transfer the execution back to the previous location where the call instruction is executed. So this is how. So conditional call instructions. So there are several flags which is used to check the conditions. Suppose here the instruction CC, so CC 16-bit, this instruction is called call on carry this address or the subroutine which is written on this address. So this is instruction CC will call the subroutine at this address if carry flag is 1. So if condition is true, carry flag is 1, the subroutine will be called, otherwise subroutine will not be called, right? Similarly, if carry flag is 0 and if you want to execute the subroutine, so that instruction is CNC, call subroutine on no carry. So this instruction CNC 16-bit will call the subroutine if carry flag is 0, otherwise it does not call the subroutine. Similarly with the 0 flag and sign flag and the parity flag, right? So in both the cases the machine cycle will be different. So if condition is true, the machine cycle will be exactly the same, just like the call instruction. So we have seen the call instruction which has a machine cycle exactly the same. So if there is instruction, suppose call on no 0, so this condition will be true if 0 flag is 0. So call on no 0 will call the subroutine at this address if the 0 flag is 0. So condition will be true. So this will be the machine cycle executed, and if the condition does not meet, suppose 0 flag is 1, then the instruction CNZ will not execute the subroutine, or the control will not be transferred. So in that case there is no need to save the address of the next instruction into the stack. So opcode fetch and memory read is sufficient if the condition is false. Similarly, with return, the conditions can be used with carry flag and zero flag and sign flag and parity flag. So if at the end of subroutine, if we are writing RNC, so this will check the carry flag whether it is 0. So if carry flag is 0, the RNC instruction will transfer the execution back to the called location. So this condition is true, and if carry flag is 1, the condition will be false and the control will not be transferred back to the called location. So this is how RNC instruction works. Similarly with other instructions, so there is a possibility of condition may be true or may be false. In both the cases the machine cycle will be different. So if condition is true in case of return, so the machine cycle will be 6T, 3T and 3T. So these two memory read is nothing but when the 2 bytes is popped from the stack and copied into program counter, right? And if the condition is false, the return will not happen, so there is no need to retrieve the content from stack, right? So the opcode fetch is enough in case of condition is false. Thank you.